In this video, I'll demonstrate a decorative 3-needle bind-off seaming method. If you're a subscriber, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm happy to have you here. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing. So there's a way to work a 3-needle bind-off so that you produce a decorative seaming edge that is visible on the right side of the work. To do this, you slightly modify a regular 3-needle bind-off. Here's what the finished seam looks like. It is a decorative seam seen on the right side that looks like a crochet chain along the seaming edge. It's quite nice looking. It's flat, it lays quite flat. It's not very bulky. It has just a little bit of stretch, depending on the tension that you work this at. It could be a little tighter or it could be a little looser, so you have a little bit of control there. Let me show you how to work this. So instead of having our right sides facing each other and the wrong sides facing out, and using the 3rd needle to bind off across, producing a seam on the inside of the garment or the wrong side of the garment, and leaving the right side with a clean seam, we want instead to have our wrong sides facing each other and the right sides facing out. My working thread is on this front piece, but it could be coming from your back piece. Either works. We're having our needle tips pointing to the right and using a 3rd needle to work this bind off. So with this 3rd needle and the yarn in the back, we'll slip the first stitch on the front needle knitwise, and then bring the yarn forward between the needles and purl the first stitch on the back needle and drop off. Then I like to move my yarn to the back to keep it out of the way, and I'm going to pass the first stitch over the next stitch. We've just worked the first stitch off of each needle. We haven't bound anything off yet. So that's a setup step. Those are our setup steps. So now we will repeat a series of steps to begin binding off. So we will slip the first stitch off the front needle knitwise, bring the yarn forward between the needles and purl the first stitch on the back needle. And then we pass the middle stitch over and then the top stitch, the first stitch over, like so. And we repeat. So slip knitwise, bring the yarn forward, purl on the back, gets a little fiddly, but we will pass that middle stitch over the leftmost stitch and then the rightmost stitch over the leftmost stitch. Slip knitwise off the front needle, bring the yarn forward between the needles, purl that back stitch, and then these get passed one at a time, over and then over. Slip knitwise, bring the yarn forward, purl, pass that over, pass that over. You can start to see our seam taking shape. So slip knitwise, bring the yarn forward between the needles so that you can purl the back stitch, pass that over and pass that over. Slip knitwise, purl, pass that over, pass that over. And you will continue this across the row. Flipping the first stitch knitwise keeps it untwisted so that your stitches on the other side of this seam are untwisted. If we slipped purlwise and then purled in the back and then passed them over, the stitch on this side of the seam is twisted. And we don't want that. So I'll unwork that. Place that back on. So slipping it knitwise instead makes that stitch untwisted when we slip it over. Like so. Yeah. Slip knitwise and forward. It can be helpful to use non-slippery needles. These are a little bit slippery. And to push your stitches farther down on the needles. When you get towards the end, it can get a little precarious, a bit like at the beginning. At the beginning and at the end, it can be a little bit. Okay, and then the last two stitches, one on each needle, slip one knitwise, purl that last stitch, and use a needle tip to slip over and slip over. So my tail through that last loop. Let me show you this seam. And there is our finished seam. It looks like a decorative chain, almost like a Latvian braid or a decorative braid. It is nice and flat. It's not very bulky. It has a little bit stretch, not a lot, but a little bit. And it looks quite nice. So that is a decorative 3-needle bind-off seam. What did you think of this? Let me know in the comments below. I hope this was helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.